Okay, so when I was a little kid, I have to share a quick story with you. So when I was a little kid, I would, no matter the circumstances, because we grew up on government assisted housing in South Sac, and every morning I would wake up like, what am I gonna learn today? Who am I gonna meet? What adventure am I gonna go on? And then in the middle part of my life, I felt like it wasn't purgatory, but I just lost that spark. And then now it's like I feel high all the time. And it's hilarious because when I meet people, they're always like, "Oh my God, like, are you on drugs?" Actually, I don't do drugs. Are you drunk? I don't drink. I'm allergic to alcohol. Fun fact. And I think it's because I went inward and realized that all the answers really are inside of you and you know what to do. Your gut knows, but you need to tap into the silence. And really, what happened was we all sort of heal a different way, but I had so many traumas that I didn't face growing up Asian American. And, a lot of times, family, it's like don't ask, don't tell. And there's like a lot of personal and professional stuff and spiritual things that actually like cracked me open. And so it was after I wrote a book, and the book is called Glimmer. And I just finished the manuscript. And I'm talking to people to get it out there in the world. And after I wrote it, a glimmer, by the way, is a opposite of a trigger, and it is coined by Deb Dana, who is a trauma therapist. She wrote a book, The Polyvagal Theory, and brain fart right there. And after I wrote it, there's so much mystical stuff and spiritual stuff and all this stuff that I was really scared to talk about. But I take you on a journey to the glimmers and how I tapped into the light back into myself. And I'm so excited to just share it. And it's really scary because I've been quiet here on socials because I just felt like I just needed several seasons of winter to pass before I woke up again. And now, after I wrote it, I feel so excited. A lot of it was the inner child work that I have done, uh, basically to my 10-year-old self, because that's when I felt like a lot of the things were changing and shifting. Mm. And now, after I wrote it, I feel like a little boy was tugging at my sleeve. A chic psychic told me that. Hi, Fiona. You are. And then all of a sudden, she was like, "You're gonna write a book about your childhood traumas, and that little boy is tugging at your sleeve, and you need to focus on them. I know that you've been on Forbes, featured on Forbes, and you are a successful broadcaster and all the things on the exterior, the titles and all that." But she was like, "The little boy is tugging on you." Okay, I have a really bad British accent, but she was like, "You have to face this. He's in your sacral, like there." That area. At first, she was like, your sexual chakra is plugged, and I was like, I don't think so. I think that area is fine, but really, she was like, no, that's the sacral area where you want to manifest things out into the world. That's of course where people make babies, but also it's where you manifest things out into the world, projects and your desires. So yeah, like all the chakra stuff and all the psychic stuff, and I realized that the psychic abilities and the clairvoyancy and all that was my sixth sense. My third eye was like really pulsating and wanting to open, but I was like trying to hide it and literally putting a band-aid over it. Or like I just think I'm a pirate, and you put it here instead of here. Anyway, okay, you put the eye cover there. Okay, so that's what I've been doing a lot. So now it's just like I feel like the little kid was like tugging at me, whispering stuff, and then my little childhood self was jumping on my back and screaming and shouting, and I was doing all the things, being successful on the outside, titles and money and like traveling. Anyway, so he was jumping on my back, screaming and shouting, like, "Pay attention to me, pay attention to me." And then all of a sudden now, after I finished the manuscript this December because I had this one chapter, the last chapter I wrote about not coming out as gay, but like people that are important to me know. and I've talked about it publicly, but really it's more about like letting people in, and letting people in, not just like about sexuality, but just about the spirituality. And yeah, it's scary as shit. And doing this is scary as shit. And for a while, I was like, I don't want to share social media. And then now it's on like Donkey Kong. I don't know where people get that, but it is on. And I'm just like excited about life. I feel like high all the time. Like I've had transmissions like literally after I wrote that last chapter. I just feel like the little boy, my 10-year-old self, is holding hands with me. And we're just walking through life, skipping, playing, don't give a fuck what people say no more. And it's like uh, sometimes he leads the way and like pulls me, and sometimes I pull him. That's the vision or the kind of impression I get. But I'm gonna be talking about some spiritual stuff. I'll be talking about some clairvoyant stuff. I was always scared of like spirits and talking to the other side and connecting, and I got so obsessed with that before my adventure to writing this book and Paris. I moved to Paris that I was just like, and I didn't want to share with anybody because it's scary as fuck. But now I can't wait to share. So much share my journey here. Well, I've been sharing little bits, but like it's really scary and hard. But come along for the ride. The book is called Gulima, and I can't wait to share. And there's already a lot of exciting stuff around it, and a lot of interest, and a lot of stores that want to pick it up, and places that are wanting to do launches and stuff. I'll tell you more about that later. But yeah, I just feel like high all the time. And I think that once you tap into and realize the bullshit of the world, because like the world is, things are collapsing the old ways, like the systems of money, politics, old ways of thinking. And like Eckhart Tolle says, like the flowering of consciousness. I mean, the next post, I'll talk a little bit about Chinese New Year and how this ties into it. But we're shedding this year, the snake, the zodiac, we're shedding. And I'm the snake. And this next year is the fire horse. And it's going to be on fire. On fire. Ah!